everybody, it is Blonde Blitz time. Let's go.
He's had, but I still like the Commanders.
I'm also tough.
DeMar Chase. I'm looking at that Cincinnati team against the Cleveland Browns.
Well, as soon as I saw the rain last night, I was wondering if that might be a little bit of a factor as well.
How we play that week is really going to be more impacted.
With the Raiders, who got Jacoby Myers back.
The same thing with Joe Burrow. You just expect Joe Burrow to do it because he's been to a Super Bowl.
It's time to send in the Blitz with Deb Whitcas and the Blonde Blitz.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Blonde Blitz. I'm your host, Deb Whitcas. Week 14 has passed, and Week 15 is coming on up. Today, my special guest is a 10-year NFL veteran, 4-time Pro Bowler, and a Redskins Commanders legend. We'll catch up with Kenneth Harvey on today's show. He'll join me for hot takes, as well as we'll do an interview, and we'll get to hear all about his football career and his current endeavors. He's a children's book author, guys. Super cool, right? Sports comedian Todd Marcel Durham is here for Week 14 Funny. I'm betting on at least one turnover joke. Mel the Clothing is here to talk first place Patriots and how to be number one in your game day look. As usual, sports betting expert is here. Alex White is here for your best bet for Week 15, along with fantasy experts Ballers Meg, intuitive reader 333 Ask Carrie, looks at her power deck for the Ravens versus Bengals game. And finally, Ben Troupe, former tight end for the Bucks and the Titans. He is here to help me with Week 15 game picks. All right, guys, let's get it all started, shall we, with headlines.
Now to Deb Whitcas with the Blonde Blitz headlines.
Week 14 delivered thrilling finishes, offensive explosions, and late season statement wins across the league. 7 games were decided by a touchdown or less, keeping multiple playoff races tight entering December. Josh Allen continued his dominant run, posting 3 total touchdowns in the 34-17 win versus Miami, pushing Buffalo to 9-4 and strengthening their AFC playoff push. He now leads all quarterbacks this season in total touchdowns. The Houston Texans pulled off a wild finish, scoring 10 points in the final 2 minutes, including a last-second field goal to beat the Jaguars 27-24 and take over second place in the AFC South. The Los Angeles Rams beat the Arizona Cardinals 45-17, moving them back to the top seed in the NFC behind another efficient outing from Matthew Stafford. Rookie wide receiver Martin Mims continued his breakout role for Denver, leading the Broncos to a crucial 28-23 division win, helping their playoff hopes very much alive heading into Week 15. All right, guys, let's move on to AFC, NFC players of the week. On the offense, we've got Puka Nacua of the Rams, 10 receptions, 146 yards, and 2 touchdowns. On the defense, Al-Quadin Muhammad of the 49ers, 3 sacks, 4 QB hits, and a forced fumble in a dominant defensive outing. On special teams, we have got Rashid Shaheed of the Saints. He had a 92-yard punt return touchdown, the longest in the NFL this season. We've gone to the AFC players of the week. In the top spot on offense, we have Josh Allen of the Bills, of course. 3 downs and a 108.5 passer rating in a key divisional win versus Miami. On the defense, Rasul Douglas of the Broncos, 2 interceptions and 4 passes defended in the 28-23 victory. And finally, on special teams, we've got Marvin Mims, talked about him earlier, of the Broncos, 87-yard punt return touchdown, plus 148 total return yards. All right, guys, that is your Week 14 headlines. Tight races, tight finishes, and major playoff implications. The Stars stepped up. All right, guys, see you next week. All right, guys, my special guest is a 10-year NFL veteran linebacker. He's a 4-time Pro Bowler. He is Redskins royalty. He was voted number 57 in the 70 Redskins of all time. He's here to help me with hot takes, the one, the only Kenneth Harvey.
Next caller is Deb Whitcas, who says she has some really hot takes.
Hello, Ken. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good, good. How's your evening?
It is going great. Hey, one correction: 11 years in the NFL.
11. I'm sorry.
I got to get that extra year in.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, that's a huge year, right?
Yeah, right.
Well, let's jump into the games for Week 14 a little bit. Eagles-Chargers game, Monday Night Football. I was there. It was an insane game. Some people were like, are these players drunk? It's the Bad News Bears playing the Bad News Bears. Like all the fumbles, all the turnovers. Chargers won the game in a crazy last-minute interception. What is going on with the Super Bowl champions here? Any idea?
Well, one, it's different. Like when you're playing, you don't realize sometimes all the stuff that the way fans see it. And like now that I'm not playing anymore, you get a chance to see it from a different perspective. And, you're yelling and mad at people and all that stuff. I do think that it's, belief is a huge part of the game. You got to believe that you're going to reach out for that extra inch to get the ball. You got to believe in your quarterback or the teammates around you. And I think Philly has lost belief in themselves or the players around them. Maybe they've lost belief in the system and what they're going to do, the calls that they're going to make. And so people are starting to show it. It's physical, it's visible. And I think that's a huge part of it. Mistakes will happen.
Right.
But if you believe that you can do it, it kind of sounds like the kid stuff that you'll tell your kids. But the reality is that if you believe that you can do something, you'll get that extra yard. You'll dive for that ball. You'll make that shoestring tackle. Those impossible things. It's because of belief. And I think Philly's lost that.
Right. Do you think it? I mean, and as far as the staff, like, and the players, do you think it's one person, or do you think it's a combination of things as well as the belief, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's a combination. I mean, I think right off the top, I don't think anyone's happy with the offensive scheme. And so that's a huge part of it. And it trickles down from there. If you're not happy with the offensive scheme, then you may have a quarterback that can overcome that. But then I don't think if people are as happy with the quarterback, and I don't think the belief is in what he can do right now. And so the running game stops, everything starts falling apart. And here you have the former Super Bowl champs that everything seemed like they, was working the year before. I think everybody was on the same page. The running game was on point, all those things. But you think once you have a year, everyone's watching film. And everyone starts looking at tendencies and they start seeing things. And if you don't have your house in check, then it'll fall apart.
Yeah, which hopefully it's not going to fall apart too much more. They're still, number one.
Well,
in the East, you never know. I mean, they did 2023. But no, I know because you're a commander. Obviously, for the Commanders, yes.
Yeah, but it's kind of it's sad to see how you could be so great in one moment. And then the following year, people are booing you. That's kind of a sad thing to see.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to watch. Well, let's talk about another team that hopefully won't fall apart without their quarterback, Daniel Jones, the Colts. He is unfortunately out for the season with Achilles injury. Philip Rivers is now taking, you know what I mean? So yeah, Rivers is in now. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's a dream of every retired player to come back and to be able to play. Fortunately, being a quarterback, the rules have changed so much that you don't take the wear and tear of the punishment. So if you know your game, if you still have your arm, if you still have all that, anything's possible. You get older, your body hurts. It takes a lot longer to recover. But a lot of the game is mental, and I think he has that part down. The physical part, hopefully he's kept in shape. He has to respect the players, and so there's a belief in that. So, yeah, give it a shot.
Right. It's like he hasn't been in the NFL, though, for 5 years. That's a long time.
I mean, it's a long time, but I think, if you still have the skills, and there are a lot of guys who still have the skills, and hopefully the scheme and the surrounding players can help them. But if you still have the skills, 5 years it could come back. It's like riding a bike. It's not something that he has to be physically strong or dominant with. It's just he has to know what he's doing and have a good arm.
Right. When he's obviously an elite, played for years. Let's go on to another elite quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, the Kansas City game and the Houston game. Kansas City lost to Houston 20-10.
Yeah. You know what? I mean, I'm a hater.
You can be.
Yeah, it's just kind of, it's like you hate the team that was really good. And they're falling apart now. And you're not cheering necessarily because they're falling apart. But sometimes you see players and teams and people that, it's like they come across above all and nothing can help, nothing can stop them. It's good to see people get kind of level. And especially this year, it's good to see other teams succeeding and possibly having a chance at the Super Bowl than not. It's
playoffs are wide open. Between the Patriots, who would have thought, the Panthers, who would have thought, the Broncos, like other teams are stepping up as Kansas City is kind of losing its reign.
Yeah. And it's good. It's maybe good and bad TV, right? There's new teams. You have to build this whole huge following and all that stuff, but it's also good to give some new blood in there, the new champions.
Yeah, we have an audience member here, Dollar Will 1234. He says Casey needs a big body wide receiver. I agree with that, and a younger Kelsey. Yeah. And also, is Andy going to hang it up? I don't think Andy's going to hang it up at all.
No. And the thing is, it's this one of those things. And some of those positions you play, age takes a toll. And if you're a tight end and you're aggressive tight end and you play hard, after a while, those hits and those things take their toll on your body. And so you do need start developing the younger people for the next generation.
Absolutely. I mean, you guys are like freight trains out there. Every time people get hit, it's like a freight train hitting you. So yeah, that takes a toll. Bills versus Bengals. The Bills pulled off a snowy comeback, being the Bengals 39-34 for a better seeding. Are the Bills as good as everybody thinks, or do people just assume it's because of Josh Allen?
Yeah, I mean, the Bills are as good as people think they are. They have an elite quarterback. And that, usually a quarterback is going to dictate the kind of the direction, at least of the offense and of the team possibly, right? And so if you have a great quarterback, you saw with the Commanders, last year, if you had a great quarterback, it can change everything around.
Yep, love Jaden Daniels so much. I'm so upset of what happened this season. And Terry McLaurin, we had this conversation before.
I mean, it is sad, it's the up and the down, but a great quarterback can really dictate kind of, or at least control part of the season with the team. You got to balance it with a defense, but a good quarterback can change things, and I think that's what they have.
Absolutely, yeah. I every single year as I put the Bills to win the Super Bowl, or to put them in like to be in the Super Bowl, and every single year they disappoint me. So I'm not doing it this year. God darn it!
Reverse psychology, right? They're not going to make it. They're not going to make it, and they make it. Yeah, I
do think it's going to be Rams Broncos, but we'll see what happens. I wanted to kind of get your pick for the top spot for each division. Let's start with AFC East first. Who you got there?
I don't know. The Patriots. I'm going to go with the Patriots.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with the Patriots too. All right, let's AFC North. Who do you think?
Yeah, Steelers.
Yeah, same with me. I think Baltimore's done. Like they're 6-7. Like I just from the first
7.
Yeah, 6-7. Yep. And this point with this, it's not good. But all right, let's go AFC South. What do you have?
I'm sorry. There's nothing worse than an old person trying to be young. 6-7. No. I'm trying to be young.
I love it.
Okay.
I said it the other day too. So
I want the Houston Texans to be there.
All right. Okay. I'm going Jaguars, but I actually want Houston. I would rather have Houston, but I think the Jags are going to take it. But Houston's getting out there and they're getting hot. So let's keep our fingers crossed. Yeah. AFC West, who you got?
Denver.
Yeah, same with me. Although the Chargers are 9-4.
Yeah. I mean,
I have a shot, but I don't think so. I mean, I don't think they're going to catch up, but
It will be interesting. I mean, you have your wants and you got to look stats in the face, but who knows?
They played better than the Eagles last night. Absolutely. So Justin Herbert looked great and Ladd McConkey, but I think the Broncos are a more balanced team. All right, let's go to the NFC. We got NFC East. Who you got here?
That's going to be interesting. I don't want to say Cowboys. I don't want to say Eagles, but
right.
I'll go with the Cowboys.
Okay. I don't disagree with you. I think the Cowboys, Dak, was throwing for like 300 yards. They had, they won 4 in a row. I don't even know what they did last week, but yeah, I think the Eagles have it. I'm hoping they beat the Commanders. Sorry, I know, but they have the Raiders this week. I think they have that game. The Bills are going to be a challenge. So
yeah, big challenge.
Let's go NFC North. This is a tough division. Packers, Bears, Lions.
Yeah, I know. It would be great to see Chicago, the Bears, but Green Bay. I'll go Green Bay.
I'm going to go Green Bay too. They're 9-3. Bears are now 9-4. I'm so excited for Chicago and for them to have a winning season, but I think the Packers are a better team. And I think they'll take it. NFC South.
I guess Panthers.
Okay. I love that. I'm not going that way, but I love that for the Panthers. Both teams are right now. It's the Bucs or the Panthers. Both are 7-6 right now. I think Buccaneers Bucky Irving. I think,
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield. Chris Godwin. I think they're just a little bit better than the Panthers, but the Panthers could easily take it.
I got a statue of a panther, so it's staring at me. So,
so it was like it was talking to you.
Yeah, it was like you better bite. You better say it.
I love it. And finally, NFC West: Rams, Seahawks, 49ers.
Yeah. Seahawks. I'm going Seahawks. Okay. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go Rams. I have to. I cover them. So, yeah, I'm going to go Rams. I think the Seahawks are right behind him, though. And honestly, I would not be surprised if San Francisco surprised us all. Even through all of the injuries they've had and all the players out, you just never know. There's a lot of football left.
Super Bowl's down there, and so it would be amazing if they flew around and make it there. So, yeah, that could be cool.
Well, let's get into your career. My first question is, why football? And I ask this for everybody.
One, I started because my parents wanted me to play. My dad, wanted me to play. Then I had a lot of anger, and football is a sport that you can play. You can release the anger, and you get a pat on the back. Hey, you're mad, right. On the back. And then it was a way to get to college, and then it became a career. And so it was more of a means to the end. It wasn't necessarily, this was like my lifelong dream. It was just, this was a way for me potentially to redeem myself because I dropped out of high school and then had to go back. And then it was also a way to go to college to me, to show everybody that I wasn't dumb. And it was more, I can get to college and do well. And I did.
Got it. Well, let's talk. When did you know that you could go pro?
I was really, I didn't know until like my senior year, towards the end. I went to college. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
I went to a couple of postseason games. That's East-West Shrine Games, Senior Bowl. I was most defensive valuable player of the East-West Shrine Game, the Senior Bowl. We went to Japan, and I was the most defensive player there. And then I did well in the combines. And I was like, you know what? Maybe this thing, maybe I got a chance.
Right. And you went to University of California, Berkeley.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Tell me about that transition from Berkeley to the NFL. You were selected by the Cardinals in the first round, 12th overall. Bring me back to that moment.
So Cardinals never talked to me. I had no idea there was any interest. The only team that really talked to me was the New York Giants, and they said I was too small to be a player on their team, a linebacker.
Loss for them.
Yeah, right. And so I was like, all right, first team I'm gonna dominate is gonna be you. And so I get a call.
You did too.
Yeah, thank you. I get a call from the Cardinals, and they're like, "Hey, hey, you want to be a Cardinals?" Heck yeah! And so it's our first year in Arizona, and I'm there, and it was new, and then the stuff that you saw in college. Like there's some big guys in college, but they were big and maybe didn't have technique or were just big, but a lot of it was fat, and they just had the size. And I ran into the guys, and you realize that as big as they are, there's a reason they're in the pros. And the guys that used to push, these are the best of the best of the best. And so everybody has a reason to be there. And that was the thing I learned quickly is that, everyone was all something in their school to get to the pros. And fortunately, I was able to adjust and do well.
So when did you find out that were you at the draft? Like what did they call what happened?
No, I was at a friend's house with my mom, and they gave me a phone call, and you pick it up, and you're like, hello, and you're like, oh, this is all before, NFL's brilliant. They found a way to monetize everything, but This was before you had all that publicity and all that stuff. So I was really nervous about getting drafted originally, and then it looked like I had a chance, and so getting that call in the first round was really exciting. But the first person they took in the draft was a linebacker. Okay. And that year they were looking for linebackers, so my odds are going somewhere. I thought maybe in the 5th round or something. My odds were halfway decent. I was just hoping it wasn't someplace cold, and it was exactly the opposite, 100% the opposite.
Completely the opposite. Yeah. It's hot in Arizona.
Arizona's hot.
Yeah, it really is. Was it exciting that you went in the first round though?
Oh yeah. I mean, I was, I'm one of those guys who once I got drafted, my first thought was like, okay, now I got to prove to them why they took that they made a good investment in me. And I was like, okay, you know what? Next day I got to start training because I want them to know that they got a good investment in me and that their belief is worthwhile. Now, I will say this real quick. My first year there, the first part of training camp and all that stuff, they wanted to make me into a 3rd down cover guy because they thought I was quick and fast. And I'm like, I'm a pass rusher. That's all I did in college, and almost lost my career, because they were like, man, this guy's not covering anybody. And they didn't want me to be a pass rusher. So every day in practice, I'm like, let me go against your lineman. Let me go against your lineman. And fortunately, I was able to demonstrate against some of the offensive linemen, and then I was able to start becoming more of a pass rushing linebacker.
Well, it worked because you went to the Pro Bowl 4 times.
Yeah.
What was that honor like?
Well, so once again, and sorry to be long-winded, but I originally tore my ACL in Arizona. And I tore my rotator cuff in my shoulder and ripped part of my labrum. So I had all these injuries, and then coming to Washington, D.C. and playing and then making it to the Pro Bowl was like a dream come true. My family got to go to Hawaii. It was an experience that people thought that I was really good. Part of the reason was that you came to Washington. Washington was like fresh off of some of the Super Bowls. Everybody loved the team, at least in this area. And so, you walk around town, you were the man. And then to be acknowledged by the other people who were, I wasn't doing anything different than I did before, other than I had some great teammates. And I owe a lot of it to all my teammates that helped me get to the Pro Bowl because, just some of the guys would push you and say, come on, Ken, you got, you can do this. From the offensive linemen, tell me, they would beat me down in practice, but told me what I was doing wrong and helped me out. And then just a lot of good players around, a lot of good people around me.
Well, and speaking of that, we have a question from the audience. Did you play with Aeneas Williams?
I did.
Underrated, he said.
Yeah. He was underrated?
Yeah.
A lot of times. So there was a lot of players who played with the Cardinals who didn't get the publicity or notoriety that they should have because we were never on TV. We never had a sold out game. It was always blacked out back then. And so a lot of people didn't know we played. We played on the East Coast and we were in Arizona. It was just kind of a mess. We never really got the publicity. And so a lot of players were underrated.
Right. Well, and you got a lot of publicity with the Commanders, though.
I did.
Yes. And you were voted into the Ring of Fame. Congratulations. That's a big deal.
It is. The older I get, the more you appreciate it, right?
Absolutely. And number 57 in the 70 greatest Redskins players, that's a true honor.
It's amazing to to have to play a game that you enjoyed and that you would have done regardless of any of the post awards, anything like that, but to be acknowledged and to say that somebody say, man, we appreciate the way you played, and to put you up on the ring. It's something that I'm proud that I can take my kids, and they can, they're not kids anymore, but they can look up and point and say, that's my dad. And so it's kind of cool.
That's so special. Well, speaking of kids, you're now retired and you are a children's book author. How did you pivot into writing?
All right. So quick story. One of my boys, I got 2 boys, and one of them came home and there was a contest on TV. And if you won, you got to be the characters, but they were sad because there were no brown characters on the TV show. And I was like, you start seeing it through the eyes of a kid, and you're like, wow, that's the way my kid sees himself. And I was like, you know what? I want to write a book so that they can see themselves as a character. And I don't, hopefully it's a simple story, but I want every other kid, I want my boys to know that that's me. And so that was the first book I did. Fortunately, the guy, Terry Crews, America's Got Talent, he did the artwork for the book. And so, because he played on the football team. And so he did the artwork for the first children's book I did. And then from that, it's just kind of more, you see how books can plant seeds, whether it's a positive seed, negative seed, but reading a book to a kid, I remember when I was a kid, somebody would read a book, it's like planting a seed in your life. And so, I, just kept writing children's books.
And how many have you written? And
I think it's about 7, 8.
All right. Can you list them for me?
And not all of them, but let's see. Hold on. This was the one. Come Find Me.
Okay.
Then you saw
right.
this. Then there was there's Life in the Fridge was the series. So Life in the Fridge, when Chocolate Milk moved in, the Fridge Bowl game, Fear in the Fridge, Bullies in the Fridge. Then there's a book called The Me That Needs to Be. And then these other ones are some of the thriller suspense. I did 2 thriller suspense novels. One is called Alone. The other one is called Xavier, A Hero No More. And then Brothers of the Storm. I wanted to try to do 3 books for my boys. One when they were young, one when they were kind of middle age, and then down the road, I'll do a movie for them. So those kind of things. So yeah, there you go.
I love that you kind of do thriller and suspense as well, because I'm an executive producer in the true crime space too. So yeah. we both do sports and crime. It's fabulous.
It's kind of crazy because people are like, you write children's books, and your other book, you're murdering somebody. What's going on with you? And I'm like, I was a linebacker. I wasn't always a nice guy. So
you also wrote a little bit for the Washington Post, correct?
Yeah, I did. Well, it's more on the street kind of interviewing, and we did some work. I did work with the Washington Post because post football, a lot of people have opinions. It was kind of cool to see what people thought of the team, of the players, and get fans' perspectives, because it's like I said, it's a lot different than when you're playing. You don't realize how invested people are into the game, and you don't realize how you look to people as you're playing the game. And so it was kind of cool to get people's opinions. That's
awesome. And we'll end with your newest book. It's called The Fridge Bowl, right? The big game.
The Fridge Bowl. So it's the food, it's characters. It's kind of based, it's called Life in the Fridge, but it's the food characters, good foods against bad foods, and they play a game of football. And ultimately, the book is about just believing in yourself, teamwork, just working together, and then just having some fun. So that's the latest kids book. I have a few other things that will be a surprise down the road later, but yeah, it's kind of cool.
You sure you don't want to tell them about it? You know what I mean? You could announce it on air.
My 60th birthday, I did stand-up comedy for the first time.
Okay.
I did a 45-minute gig.
Well, that's so hard.
Yeah, I had to have a diaper on. I mean, I was scared to death. I had never done. I didn't think I was a funny person, but I just, sometimes you realize in life, if you don't laugh, you can die. Stress is the number one killer, right? And it just manifests itself in different ways. And so I got to a point where I was like, you know what? If I don't start learning to laugh, I'm gonna die. And then I took from that into trying to do stand-up comedy. So there you go.
All right. I love how versatile you are. Football player, comedian, writer. It's fabulous. Where can our audience find you, and where can they buy the book? Most importantly?
So you can buy it on Amazon. They're out of order right now, but if you put in the order, it'll come back around, and you can do that. So if you go to Amazon, you can find the book. I've been off social media. I'm just now starting to try to get back on, but you can look me up on Facebook or LinkedIn, Kenneth Harvey. You'll find me there.
Awesome. And I will connect with you there as well. All right, Ken, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you. You made this interview enjoyable and easy, and I appreciate that.
Appreciate that so much. We'll see you soon.
All right. Thanks. Take care.
All right, bye. All right, guys. Next, we have Todd Marcel Durham. He is here for Week 14 Funny. Todd, what you got?
Okay, I got one for you. What did the wide receiver say to the football? Catch you later. Yeah, my jokes suck. That's why I watch the Blonde Blitz.
Todd.
Deb, we're back. Oh my gosh, this is
Yeah.
great. I was
How are
watching that interview. I realized Kenneth and I have a lot in common. Tons in common. We both had a long career playing football. We both did stand-up comedy, and we both have a bowl in our fridge. His is a book, and mine is full of leftover Chipotle. Is this thing on? Come on, let's go.
That was funny.
Thank you. I'll take it.
How was your Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving was great. We worked out in the morning and then watched 3 consecutive football games, and I ignored my family for most of the day. So, I mean, what do you want
to do, right?
Yeah, what is this? Is this not the United States of America? Like, what else was I? Does that people do other things? So you guys, this has been a long time since we've talked last, and a lot of things have happened, but most recently, we had the Super Bowl winning champions were in Los Angeles to play the Chargers.
Yep.
And the big story, I think, is Jalen Hurts getting a hard time for throwing 4 picks. I'm not down with Jalen Hurts slander in that respect, okay? Listen, if you want to slander Jalen Hurts, be my guest. But slander him for the right things. Slander him because he always looks like he's trying to dress as the third lead in an SWV music video. Dress like he's slander him because he sounds and he talks and he acts like he's always trying to be a Tony Braxton romantic interest. Slander him for those things. I got no problem with that. But don't slander him for 4 picks. Why? Because his receivers had a chance to catch those passes. And if we don't fix that, if we don't have a category for wide receivers dropping passes that turn into picks, we're going to have this problem forever, okay? Let me put it to you like this. For everyone watching, wide receivers not having a category for a dropped pass that turns into a pick is like a man taking his wife or girlfriend to a restaurant and her not knowing what she wants to eat that night, okay? At some point, you have to figure out if you're hungry or not, all right? And if you're hungry enough, you're going to catch the ball. And if you're not hungry enough, don't eat anything. That's how we fix that problem, in my humble opinion. All right. What else happened recently? We had the NFC North going ham. The Bears, the Packers, things were going crazy. Bears went from number 1 to number 7 in the conference in 1 week. My problem with that is different than their problem with that. My problem with that is the week when they were in first place, after that big win, what happened in the locker room after? Does everyone remember? Because I certainly do. Yeah, it was Ben Johnson going Skins, okay? And now the following week, they lost, which that's a big problem for me because it sets bro culture back for decades. The more time a guy is punished for going Skins, the less time he's going to go Skins, okay? That's a problem for me because dudes want to see pecs. We ask the tough questions in life, like how much do you bench, okay?
Yeah.
And if we don't have our head coaches running around going Skins more often, we're never going to get to a point in the NFL where Dan Campbell is going Skins, which is what everybody wants, okay? We don't want Andy Reid going Skins, but we do want Dan Campbell going Skins. And if the Bears lose after Ben Johnson goes Skins, it's not going to happen for the rest of the season. That's a problem for me. Is this not a problem for anyone else? I feel like it. Other things happened recently. I've come up with a category of football called Zoomer Ball Confirmed. Zoomer Ball Confirmed. All right. And what's Zoomer Ball Confirmed? I feel like Zoomer Ball Confirmed is a guy like George Pickens wearing a shiesty and not even allowing his mouthpiece to go in his mouth, the old concussion preventer. Okay. George Pickens has his number one receiver go out of the game, and he just decides for the rest of the game he's not going to attempt to catch football passes, and he's going to pout, he's going to cry. That's Zoomer Ball Confirmed. Another example of Zoomer Ball Confirmed is an inflatable rabbit in the Eagles locker room. Zoomer Ball Confirmed. Why is that a Zoomer Ball thing? Because when the Eagles were winning the Super Bowl against the Patriots, they were wearing dog masks. Okay. That is, I don't even know the name. Yeah, and who doesn't, and who won one? I'll tell you what, if they won the Super Bowl with inflatable rabbits, no one's putting that up in their yard or in their house. It's just not happening. That's just a Zoomer Ball move. Puka Nacua, Zoomer Ball Confirmed. He's going live in the locker room with their, so any number of things are happening behind him. Zoomer Ball Confirmed. So if you're watching the NFL and you see somebody doing something just social media orientated, it's Zoomer Ball Confirmed.
Zoomer Ball Confirmed. We will remember that.
Zoomer Ball Confirmed. I think it's pretty simple. And lastly, on Monday night, I saw a guy named Cooper DeJean defending a guy named Lad McConkey, and I thought to myself, what is this, the Long Island lacrosse tournament? I mean, what are we doing here? Okay, that's my time.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Where can our audience find you?
At Todd Marcel Dorm on everything, website, socials.
Awesome. We'll see you during the playoffs.
Thank you, guys.
All right. The Patriots, guys, are on fire this NFL season. They're 11-2. And sports designer Melda Clothing is showing off her hottest looks for game day.
When I need the latest in style and entertainment, I tune into the Blonde Blitz.
Hey, Deb. Thanks for having me on the Blonde Blitz this week, so I'm super excited.
All right, guys, looks like we're having some technical difficulties. All good. Let's get into the Week 15 game, shall we? Please welcome third-generation sports betting expert Alex White to give you your best bet for Week 15.
It's time to get some NFL betting advice from Alex White and the Blonde Blitz. Win big so I can rob you later.
Here we go, just 4 weeks left in the NFL, and Week 15 leaves us with some great betting opportunities. 6 division matchups, 4 of them with home revenge. This includes the Falcons tomorrow night at Tampa Bay, the Bills at New England, the Ravens at Cincinnati, and the Carolina Panthers in New Orleans. The last one is my favorite of all of them. They're a 2.5-point favorite. If you don't want to lay the 2.5 points, because it could be a closer game, but it is a division matchup, -145 on the money line. I like that as well. I do think the Panthers get this win and get this revenge. In the first matchup, New Orleans kind of caught them in a sleepy spot. The Panthers were coming off a big win over the Packers and maybe took them a little too lately. They were outgained, but they definitely lost the turnover battle in that one. Well, I like how Dave Canales has his team playing. Running the 7th most in the league, playing at the 7th slowest pace. So methodical, controlling the clock. I think they're going to get it done here, especially without Alvin Kamara on the other side for the Saints, who was a huge reason why they got that first win. Carolina has everything in front of them. 7-6. They're tied right now with Tampa Bay for the division. They still have 2 matchups against the Bucs coming up. Coming off a bye week, the Panthers are, so Panthers -2.5. That is my best bet of the weekend. Enjoy, cash some tickets. I'll check in again next week. Thanks for having me, as always.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Alex. Always good to see you. And of course, we can't talk sports betting without talking fantasy. Here's fantasy expert Ballers Meg with her advice for Week 15.
When I'm looking for fantasy advice, I listen to Meg from TSS Fantasy.
Hi guys, welcome back to the fantasy football section of the Blonde Blitz podcast with me, Ballers Meg. So let's jump into the players that I would recommend you pick up ahead of Week 15 games. Starting off over in Houston, where I'm picking up Nico Collins. They're facing an Arizona Cardinals side that is weak right now. Nico Collins is an absolute baller. Paired up with CJ Stroud, absolutely going to do great things this week. Next up, I'm taking Travis Etienne Jr. That Jags side have been on fire recently. They are playing the Jets this weekend. We know the Jets are trash. They have been all season. I am very hopeful that Travis Etienne Jr. can get some real decent points this week and put up those touchdowns to boot as well. Finally, my last player that I'm going to be picking up for my daily fantasy squad this week is Ted McMillan over at the Carolina Panthers. Now, they're facing a Saints side that are high off a victory last week. However, that Panthers team have been formidable this season. Nobody could have expected them to be as good as they were, although a few of us had a sneaky feeling that they might be. I'm taking Ted McMillan. I think he is going to ball out this week. If you would like more hints, tips, tricks and advice on all things fantasy football, then please make sure you check out TSS Fantasy. Our shows are on a Friday and a Sunday where we are live and we will talk you through all our advice for fantasy football. And if you want to catch me some more, then Ballers_Meg on all social media platforms. You can catch my content across there. And I will see you next week for Week 16. Take care, guys.
All right, thanks so much, Meg. Next, Intuitive Reader 333 Ask Carrie is using her Power Deck cards to predict the Ravens versus Bengals game this week. Carrie, let's go.
Let's see what the Power Deck cards say about these NFL team futures.
333 Ask Carrie here, ready to give you Week 14 game predictions for the Ravens versus Bengals game, and I will be using my Power Deck. So there are 3 astrological planetary transits that are happening that are just like going to give this whole entire game a big boom boost, and especially in any game for the players that are mutable signs. So mutable signs being Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces, and Gemini. But let's say the most notable, it will be those that are Sagittarian. And why? Because you guys have the sun in Sagittarius, which means that you are coming in with a very wipe the slate clean attitude and taking leaps of faith, bringing in strong points of intuition, using your mental agility, your physical agility. And who is our most notable Sagittarian? It is quarterback Joe Burrow. Now, we can't leave out the Capricorns in this game. The other 2 planetary transits that are definitely going to be bringing everything together happens to be in the sign of Capricorn. And those planets are Mars, which is the planet of power, aggression, defensive plays, along with Venus, the planet of luxury, love, and all things material. So how does that all play into it? Well, first of all, quarterback Lamar Jackson's going to know because he's going to be giving it his all. But he just has a really steady force and a very commanding way of taking charge. And there are going to be a little bit more of a surprisingly passing game for the Ravens, and also their defense is going to just, go off the charts as usual. But I just really feel that since the Bengals are on their home field, this has a definitely underdog type of energy to it, I'm going to definitely say that this may be something to be looking out for in regards to the Bengals and the way that they're playing. It's definitely going to, right now, from the way things are, it's a toss-up, but let's get into the power deck and see exactly what I see. So we have I'm going to put the Ravens first. They have the Ace of Diamonds, which means that they are definitely, a contender into the game. They're putting a lot of positive energy into it. And then that comes with the Two of Pentacles meaning earth sign energy. So they are definitely showing up for the game. So it's not going to be a low scoring game. And then we have the Seven of Spades, though. Seven of Spades represents the Seven of Swords, and it means treachery. It means like they just may not be able to pull across that win because they have some heavy swords in their back. Now, what do we have for the Bengals? So we have the Nine of Hearts for the Bengals because they are the most favorited and loved by their fans since it's on home field. And then we have the Five of Spades, which is the Five of Swords. There's a lot of like mental talk. Maybe there might be a fight or two where people get into arguments. And then we get the Eight of Hearts, which means that they're not going to walk away. It's going to take them a lot to like walk away from the game, and they give it their all, and they get the Two of Hearts, which is the partnership card, which is the, it just has a really good feel to it. Now, numbers wise, I was picking up the Ravens get 20 and the Bengals 27. So it's going to be not a close game, but it's definitely going to have this feel in the beginning that it's going to be neck to neck. But then I feel that the Bengals will take it away again, 20-27 Bengals. So I hope that everybody is having a wonderful start to their holiday season. And back to you, Deb.
All right, thanks so much, Carrie. All right, guys, Ben Troupe, former tight end for the Bucs and the Titans, is here to help me with Week 15 game picks. Ben, where you at?
Bring in Deb and Troupe so we can get our NFL picks.
Ben, hello.
How you doing?
Good, how are you? So we are not discussing the Eagles this week, just so you know.
Oh, listen, look, I understand. Look, you contractually obligated. If they don't look the way we're supposed to look, we move on. We let that one go, throw it in the trash. It didn't happen.
And you took the Chargers, and you were right. I mean, what a wild game, right? I was there, 50-yard line, row 3, and best seats I've ever had in my life, and I got to watch that game. Hurts made history, at least. Right?
Oh, yeah. We'll never say to everybody that got something to say, he'll never play like that again. That'll never happen again.
Ever again. Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to this week's games. Talking about the Chargers again. Let's do Chargers versus Kansas City Sunday at 1 p.m. What you got and why?
I'm going to go with the Chargers. I mean, Kansas City, they're going to scratch and claw. I mean, you still got Patrick Mahomes, but I saw Travis Kelce on his podcast talking with his brother Jason, and he said something that is hard to do. He admitted, he said, the previous years, I knew how to figure this thing out, man. I can't figure it out. I mean, when Travis Kelce, with 87, it's not on par with Patrick Mahomes. It's going to be a long day. So the Chargers are trending upward. I mean, for people talking about how good the Chargers played, Ladd McClunkey and Keenan Allen, they were ghosts against the Eagles, and they still won. They didn't do anything. I got the Chargers because the Chargers know for them to keep pace in this AFC West, because I think Denver's going to win the AFC West that nobody's talking about. I got the Chargers.
I just said it earlier in the show.
Yeah. I got the Chargers though.
All right, I actually agree with you. I saw the way they played. They're hungry and they want it. So, and Casey's just not clicking, like you said.
Yeah.
Kelsey's getting older now. I don't know what's going on, right?
He's getting ready to get married. That's all.
Right, exactly. He's in love, which is not a bad thing. But Chargers all-time. Casey actually leads the Chargers all-time record, 71 wins, 59 losses. Believe it or not, these two teams have only met once in the playoffs, and that's it. But Kansas City, they're favored by 4.5. I don't see it. I think the Chargers take this one.
Yeah, Chargers.
Absolutely. All right. We both agree. All right. Let's do Buffalo versus New England Sunday at 1 p.m. Who you got and why?
Buffalo, I'm gonna go with Buffalo. I'm going begrudgingly. Drake May look like the better quarterback, better team the first time they played Buffalo. They number one in the division right now. Here's the thing about Josh Allen. Josh Allen has 77 career touchdowns. That's 2 more than Cam Newton. That's the most rushing touchdowns all time. I mean, he got James Cook. He got a solid defense. If they can find a way to keep pressure on Drake May, don't if you're gonna blitz him from the left side. That way he have to blitz him, from his opposite side. Make him rush, make him run to the left. Why? Because you kept blitzing him from the opposite side. You made him run to the right. Well, he's right-handed, so you're fletching him to his strong side. I'm gonna go with Buffalo because I think Buffalo needs this win. I love what Drake May and Mike Vrabel is doing in year 1 with the New England Patriots, but I think this Buffalo team is playing desperate. This Buffalo team understands that wins are going to be precious and hard to come by this last month of the season. Give me the Buffalo Bills, even though I think Drake May and company are the better team right now.
I actually agree with you on this one. I think Buffalo is about to heat up. It's playoff time. It's, it is game time, literally. But New England has been doing amazing this year. The Bills are actually favored in this by 1 point. But we'll see. And Buffalo has won 7 of the last 10 regular season matchups when they played New England. So I think that is going to continue. New England can take 1 loss. I mean,
yeah,
they can. It'll be fine. They're still going to take the division. So, all right, let's go. Green Bay versus Denver Sunday at 4:25 p.m. Who you got and why?
Oh, this is gonna be a good one. I mean, no one's talking about what Denver is doing right now. Sean Payton, Bo Nix, year 2 with him. They found a way to get it done. Him and Cortland Sutton and those guys. But here's the thing about Green Bay, right? Green Bay is finding their stride too. Micah Parsons. People talking about who won that trade with Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons got Green Bay sitting atop that division. Just ask Chicago how good Micah Parsons is. I think it's going to be a really, really good game.
Yeah,
it's going to be in Denver. That Mile High is rough. Yeah. And I've been there, But I like Green Bay a little bit better. Green Bay is looking at that division saying, once again, here come. There goes Chicago. There go Detroit. We got to put some space between us and them. Great game. Love what Denver's doing, but I think Green Bay gets their second win in the last 2 weeks. Back-to-back wins for Green Bay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Green Bay too. We're agreeing on all of the going on, Ben. Yeah, I mean, I love what Denver's doing. I actually do have Denver going to the Super Bowl, I think. But I think, yeah, I do. I know I'm probably crazy.
No. Sean Payton get to another Super Bowl without Drew Brees and company, that solidifies him as one of the greatest coaches to ever do it. Because people associated with Drew Brees and what he meant to that offense, what he meant to that team, to that city. But hey, if you do it with Bo Nix, you go from Drew to Bo. Okay.
Right.
All right.
Right. Well, time will tell. I do think Green Bay's, it's heating up too. They're all-time is tied at 7-7. Green Bay has won 4 of the last 6 contests between the two clubs. And interestingly enough, Denver has never won a regular season game against the Packers in Green Bay.
Wow.
So, ever. So Packers are 2.5 favorites on this one. I'm going Green Bay too. So, all right, let's go. One more. We got Detroit versus the LA Rams Monday Night Football. Another really good game. Who you got and why?
So Detroit, they're gonna be in LA.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with LA. Matthew Stafford finally gets some get back. Matthew Stafford has had to come play Detroit. If I'm not mistaken, both times he had to come to Ford Field, and this is switcheroo. One go to LA, the other will come to Detroit. I'm gonna say the Rams get a big win. Now, here's the thing: in order to beat Detroit, you got to stop that running game. You got to stop Amon St. Brown, which is not Jahmyr Gibbs. All he does is score touchdowns. That's all he does. He got like 50 touchdowns. He's 24 years old. But I'm still go with the Rams. Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, Jared Verse. I just think that for a guy like Matthew Stafford, he ain't playing to prove nobody wrong. But right now, it looks like Detroit got the better end of the deal because they beat y'all last times they played y'all. But I'm going to go with the home team. Give me the Rams.
Yeah, I'm going Rams too. And Rams lead the all-time 45 wins, 43 losses, and 1 tie. We see the matchup between Goff and Stafford again, it's like it's the story. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I mean, everyone's always talking about it. Rams are 4.5 favorite on this one. I have to go Rams. It's going to be a really good game, though. Yeah. I think this is going to be the game of the week. All right, Ben, thank you so much for being here. Your show is next. No weddings in the fall. Guys, please stay tuned for Ben's show. Today's show is sponsored by Wish LBI and Underdog Fantasy. Go to Underdog Fantasy and use promo code BLONDE, and we'll double your deposit up to $100. All right, guys, if you like tonight's show, please subscribe, and you can follow us on all socials at The Blonde Blitz. All right, football forever, guys. See you next week. And go Birds, I guess.